Hello there, and welcome to Sleepy Galaxy Channel. Tonight we are going to sit for a long while with a small, strange world, and with a question that sounds almost like a riddle when you first hear it. The question is this: why should Mercury not exist? And yet, plainly, unarguably, there it is. It circles the sun closer than any other planet we know of, a rounded little companion of rock and iron, and by several of the rules we thought we understood, it looks like something that was never supposed to survive. It is too dense for its size. It is too metal for its place. It sits in a region so battered by heat and light and the raw pressure of a young star that many of the things we imagine forming there should have been scattered or scorched or swept away long ago. And yet, it endures. That is the paradox we will hold tonight, turned over and over in the low light. The way you might turn a smooth stone in your hand without needing it to become anything other than what it is. We will move slowly, and we will move in no hurry at all. Across the hours ahead, we will wander through 4 wide fields of wondering. First, we will look at the puzzle itself, the sense in which Mercury seems like a survivor of something that should have erased it. Second, we will follow the long human story of how anyone came to notice this little world at all. The watchers and the wanderers and the patient mapmakers of the sky. Third, we will let ourselves drift outward and imagine what it would be to be carried there, to hang above that gray and cratered surface and feel, in the body, what the numbers only hint at. And fourth, we will come back around to comfort, to the strange reassurance that a place so extreme can also be, in its own way, a place of deep and lasting rest. None of these need to be studied. None of them need to be remembered. They are only shapes for your attention to rest upon while the rest of you lets go. If this channel has ever helped carry you down into sleep, a like or a subscribe helps the channel reach others who are also lying awake right now, in other rooms, under other ceilings, listening the way you are listening. That is the only thing I will ask of you all night, and even that is not a thing you need to do now. You can let the thought pass by like a light beyond a window. And now, none of this is anything you need to hold on to. There is no test at the end of this. There is nothing to keep, nothing to carry into tomorrow. Settle in. Let your shoulders ease down, away from your ears, down toward the warmth of wherever you are lying. Let the weight of your head be fully given to whatever holds it. Feel the long line of your spine soften, one small place at a time, and let your breath find its own slow rhythm without your having to arrange it. Let the day you have just finished begin to loosen its grip, thought by thought, until it is only a faint hum somewhere far behind you. There is nowhere else you have to be. There is nothing else you have to do. Let's begin. Let us start then with the simple strangeness of the thing. Mercury is the smallest of the true planets, smaller than some of the moons that circle the giant worlds farther out, and it runs its tight, fast loop around the sun closer in than anything else of its kind. If you could stand somewhere above the whole arrangement and watch it turn, you would see this little world hurrying along its path while the larger planets swing wide and slow in the cold beyond. And here is the first of the puzzles. For a world so small, Mercury is astonishingly heavy for its size. Deep inside it there is a great core of iron and metal, a core that takes up far more of the planet than it has any right to. Most rocky worlds are like a thick shell of stone wrapped around a modest metal heart. Mercury is almost the reverse. It is a vast metal heart wearing only a thin coat of stone. And no one is entirely certain why. You can feel the shape of the mystery even without the mathematics. Imagine building something small and finding it far heavier than its size suggests, as though someone had hidden a dense weight inside a light and ordinary object. You would turn it over, looking for the seam, wondering how it came to be. That is what Mercury does to the people who study it. It is a small thing, carrying an enormous secret in its middle, and the secret is old, older than almost anything else you could name, laid down in the first few million years of the solar system, when everything was newly forming out of fire and dust. Tonight, you do not need to solve it. You only need to notice how gently a mystery can hold you, the way a question with no urgent answer can become a kind of resting place all its own. And already, before we go any further, I want to give you this small companion who will keep us company through all the hours ahead. Picture, if you like, a small survivor sitting beside a fire in the dark. It does not matter yet what it is or where it sits. It is simply something modest and hushed that has come through a great deal and asks for nothing now. It holds its place beside the warmth. It has nothing to prove tonight. Whatever storms it has passed through are behind it, and here, in the low orange light, it simply endures, breathing easy, keeping its small circle of heat. We will return to this figure again and again, because Mercury, in its own way, is exactly this. A small survivor that has kept its place beside a great fire, asking nothing, proving nothing, simply enduring. And you tonight are invited to endure in just the same easy way. Nothing to prove, only the warmth and the staying. Now, when scientists say that Mercury should not exist, they do not mean it as a trick of words. They mean something quite specific, and it is worth sitting with slowly. When the solar system was young, the region very close to the sun was one of the harshest places imaginable. The young sun poured out heat and light and streaming particles with a ferocity far beyond what it gives now. In that inner zone, the lightest materials, the ices and the gases and the airy volatile things, could not settle or gather. They were driven outward, pushed away toward the cold, leaving behind only the most stubborn substances, the metals and the rock forming minerals that could endure such heat. So a world forming there would already be a world made of hard, enduring stuff. That much makes sense. But Mercury is more extreme even than that reasoning predicts. It has more metal, proportionally, than the simple story allows. And so the question becomes not only how a world survived so close to the fire, but how it came to be so concentrated, so distilled, so purely a creature of iron and endurance. There are several possible answers, and none of them is settled, and that is part of what makes tonight so restful. In science, an unsettled question is not a failure. It is an open door. One idea is that the young Mercury was once larger, wrapped in a thicker coat of rock, and that early in its life it suffered a tremendous collision, a great blow from another young body, which stripped away much of its outer stone and flung it into space, leaving mostly the dense metal core behind. Another idea is that the fierce young sun itself did the stripping, its heat and its outflowing wind slowly boiling away the lighter outer layers over long ages. And a third idea suggests that the very dust from which Mercury gathered was already unusually rich in metal, sorted by forces in that inner region we do not yet fully understand. Perhaps it was one of these. Perhaps it was some peaceful combination of all three. You do not have to choose. You can simply let the possibilities float side by side, like several small boats resting on the same calm water, none of them needing to reach the shore before you sleep. Sit for a moment with the idea of the great collision, because there is something in it that sounds violent and is, in truth, deeply peaceful once you let it settle. Long ago, the story goes, a young world was struck, and much of its outer self was torn away and scattered into the dark. And yet what remained did not shatter. What remained gathered itself, drew back into a sphere, and kept going. The blow that should have ended it instead simply made it what it is. This is the survivor beside the fire again. It has been struck, and it has lost a great deal, and it does not carry the loss as a wound tonight. It carries it as a shape. It is dense and small and enduring precisely because of what it went through, and it sits now beside the warmth with nothing to prove. No story it needs to tell, only the tranquil fact of having remained. There is a comfort in that you can borrow. Whatever you have lost, whatever has been stripped away from your own long day, you too are here yet, gathered, whole enough, keeping your place beside your own small fire. Let us stay a while longer with that core of iron at the center of things, because it is the heart of the whole mystery, and there is something restful in going down into it slowly. Imagine descending, not in fear, but in unhurried curiosity, through the thin outer stone of Mercury and into the metal beneath. The rock at the surface is gray and old and cratered, dust laid over dust for billions of years. Below it, the world grows denser, and denser again, until you reach a core that is not a small pit at the center, but a great sphere filling most of the planet. A sphere of iron and nickel so large that Mercury is, more than anything, a ball of metal with only a modest skin of rock drawn over it. And here is a further wonder. A part of that core, deep down, is very likely molten yet, liquid yet, slowly turning yet, after all this time. A small world should have cooled long ago, given up its inner heat to the cold of space, and gone stiff and lifeless all the way through. Yet Mercury keeps a warm and moving heart. It should have gone lifeless, and it has not. You can feel your way into why this matters without any strain at all. A moving, molten metal core turning slowly inside a spinning world can generate something remarkable. A magnetic field, an invisible shape of force that reaches out beyond the surface and wraps the little planet in a faint protective breath. Mercury has such a field, weak but real, and its presence surprised the people who first measured it, because so small and so old a world had no business holding a living, magnetic heart at all. It is one more way this planet quietly refuses the fate that was written for it. It should be cold. It should be dead all the way through. Instead, somewhere far beneath that battered gray face, a slow, warm current moves yet, and reaches out, and holds. The survivor beside the fire has not only kept its place, it has kept a small ember burning in its own chest, an inner warmth it does not display and does not explain, that simply goes on turning, while everything around it has gone dark and hard. You have such an ember too. Even now, as the rest of you grows heavy and slow toward sleep, something at your own center keeps its faithful warmth, asking nothing of you, turning on its own. Now let us rise back up to the surface and consider the light. Mercury lives closer to the sun than any other planet, and so it stands in a flood of light and heat that would be scarcely imaginable from where you are lying now. The sun, seen from Mercury, would loom far larger in the sky than the modest disk we know, a swollen and blazing presence pouring down warmth with an intensity that turns the sunlit ground hot enough to melt certain metals. And yet, And here is another of the world's low paradoxes. Mercury also holds some of the coldest places anywhere in the inner solar system. This is because it turns slowly and has almost no air to carry warmth from one place to another. On the day side, the heat is tremendous. But step across into shadow, into the long polar craters where sunlight has never once reached in billions of years. And the cold is deeper than almost anywhere you could name, a cold so patient and so complete that ice can hide there, frozen water tucked into the shadowed floors of craters on the hottest-faced planet of all. Fire on one side, ice on the other, held in the same small body, and neither one troubling the other. The world simply contains them both, without conflict, without needing to resolve the difference. There is a lesson in that you can let settle over you like a blanket. You do not have to resolve everything you carry in order to rest. You can hold warmth and cold, the bright thing and the shadowed thing, the day you had and the day you wanted, all at once, in the same faint body. And none of it needs to be reconciled before you sleep. Mercury does not agonize over holding fire beside ice. It simply holds them, turning slowly, keeping its ancient balance. And you, tonight, can hold whatever you are holding in exactly the same untroubled way, letting the warm and the cold sit side by side in you without argument, while your breath goes on, slow and low and easy. And the edges of the day grow soft. Consider now how slowly Mercury turns, because its days are among the strangest and most restful things in the whole solar system, and to feel their length is to feel time itself stretch and slow. On the world where you are lying, the sun comes up and goes down within a single turning, a bright rhythm of morning and evening you have known your whole life. But Mercury keeps a far stranger clock. It turns on its axis very slowly, and it hurries around the sun very quickly, and the two motions weave together into something that has no equal among the planets. On Mercury, a single day, from one sunrise to the next, lasts longer than its entire year. The sun rises with immense slowness, taking a span of time that would swallow many of our own days, and it crawls across the black sky so gradually that you could watch it for what would feel like a lifetime and see it barely move. In some places, near certain points in its orbit, the sun even seems to pause in the sky, slow, stop, and slide backward a little way before resuming its long march. Sunrise on Mercury is not an event. It is an age. Let yourself sink into the pace of that. Imagine a morning so long and so slow that there is no possible reason to hurry. A dawn that unfolds across weeks of our time. The light creeping over the cratered plains so gradually that nothing is ever startled by it. Nothing is ever rushed. Shadows stretch and shift with the patience of geology. The ground warms by imperceptible degrees. There is no clock ticking, no alarm waiting, no sudden brightness to jolt anything awake. Everything on Mercury happens at the pace of eons, and to imagine standing there is to feel your own inner hurry unwind, thread by thread, until it lies loose and forgotten beside you. You are not on Mercury, of course. But you can borrow its clock tonight. You can let time stretch out around you until each breath feels as long and unhurried as a Mercurian dawn, and there is nowhere the light needs to reach, and nothing that needs to happen next. Let us pause here and turn, for a while, to the long human story of how anyone ever came to know this little world at all. Because the tale of Mercury is also a tale of patient watchers across thousands of years, and there is deep rest in that slow inheritance. Mercury is not easy to see. It hugs the sun so closely that it is almost always lost in the glare. appearing only for brief windows low on the horizon, in the flush just after sunset or the pale minutes before dawn, before the sun rises up and washes it away. For most of history, the people who caught it saw it only as a faint point of light, a shy wanderer that hardly ever showed itself, quick to appear and quick to vanish. And yet, across the world, in many different lands, watchers noticed it and named it and followed its comings and goings with a care that can only be called devotion. The very oldest records we have come from the watchers of ancient Mesopotamia, thousands of years ago, who tracked the movements of the bright wandering lights across the sky and wrote them down on tablets of clay night after night, generation after generation. They did not have telescopes. They had only their eyes and their patience and the long dark hours and the willingness to look at the same stretch of sky again and again until its patterns became familiar. To them, Mercury was one of the wanderers, one of the lights that did not stay fixed like the stars, but moved against them, keeping its own restless schedule. Imagine those watchers now, standing in the cool of the evening, looking toward the last light of the vanished sun, waiting for the faint spark to appear low over the horizon. They knew nothing of iron cores or magnetic fields. They knew only that here was a small light that came and went, faithful in its own way, returning always to the edge of the sun, and they kept faith with it, marking its returns, building a record that would outlast their cities and their languages and their names. That inheritance of watching passed on, hand to hand, across the ages. The observers of the ancient world in Greece looked to the same faint spark and, noticing that it appeared sometimes in the evening and sometimes in the morning, at first imagined it might be two separate lights, a dusk star and a dawn star, before slowly realizing it was one restless wanderer, keeping its own hurried orbit. They gave it the name of a swift messenger, a fleet-footed traveler, because of the speed with which it darted near the sun and slipped away again. And there is something fitting in that, for Mercury truly is the fastest of the planets, sweeping around the sun more quickly than any other, completing its whole year in a span shorter than a single season on your own world. The ancients could not have known the reason, but they felt the quality of the thing, its quickness, its shyness, its habit of never straying far from the light. They named it for what it seemed to be, and the name has stayed with it across all the long centuries since. A small inheritance of attention handed down to us who look up now. I want you to feel, as you lie there, the sheer depth of that patience, because it is one of the most restful things I know. For thousands upon thousands of years, people have been standing in the evening cool, looking toward the horizon, waiting for this faint light to appear. They did it before there were cities as we know them. They did it before there were books. They did it with nothing but their eyes and their patience and the willingness to return, night after night, to the same slow watching. And every one of those watchers is gone now, and yet the watching remains, gathered up and carried forward. So that when you think of Mercury tonight, you are joining a line of attention older than almost anything human. You do not have to do anything to belong to it. Simply by wondering about this small world in the dark as you drift towards sleep, you take your calmer place in that long, unbroken chain of watchers who looked toward the same faint light and let it hold them for a while. The telescope, when it came, changed everything, and yet changed almost nothing about how hard Mercury remained to see. When the first observers turned their new glass tubes toward the sky and found mountains on the moon and moons around distant giants, Mercury stayed stubborn, low and small, and lost in the sun's glare, giving up its secrets only grudgingly and slowly. For centuries it remained little more than a tiny disk, hard to catch, harder to map. Watchers strained to trace faint markings on its surface, and often disagreed, and sometimes drew maps that later proved to be more hope than fact. The little world kept its distance, kept its shyness, and let itself be known only in fragments over long stretches of time by those willing to keep returning to the difficult, glare-soaked task of looking. There is a tenderness in that difficulty. Some things are not meant to be grasped quickly. Some things yield only to the patient, the returning, the ones content to gather a little understanding at a time and to wait, without frustration, for the rest. And then, in a later age, came the great leap, the sending of small machines across the vast gulf to see Mercury not from afar, but from close beside it. And here the human story of this world opens into something almost dreamlike. The first spacecraft to reach it swept past 3 times, catching glimpses of a cratered, moon-like face, mapping only part of it, and then went silent and drifted on, leaving much of the little world hidden away. For decades after, half of Mercury remained literally unseen by any human eye or instrument, a whole hemisphere, waiting in the dark, unmapped, unknown, patient as it had always been. Imagine that, a whole side of a whole world, there all along, turning faithfully beneath a sky no one had yet looked up into. It did not need our seeing in order to exist. It simply waited, keeping its craters and its plains and its long shadows, until at last another traveler came. That later traveler was a machine of great patience and great cleverness, for reaching Mercury is far harder than it sounds. You might think that falling toward the sun would be easy, that a thing let loose in the inner solar system would simply tumble inward toward the light. But the truth is the opposite. And it is beautiful. To reach Mercury and stay there, a spacecraft must shed an enormous amount of speed, must fight against the very pull that seems as if it should help, must loop again and again past other worlds, borrowing and giving back motion, threading a path of exquisite care across years of travel. The little machine that finally settled into orbit around Mercury took the better part of a decade to arrive, swinging past your own world, and past Venus, and past Mercury itself many times, shedding speed with each pass, patiently, until at last it could be caught and held in a loop around the small gray planet. To go to the fastest world, you must become the most patient of travelers. There is a whole philosophy in that, if you want one, but tonight, you need only feel its shape. Sometimes the way to reach the swiftest thing is to slow down more than you ever imagined you could. When that patient machine at last looked down upon the whole of Mercury, it found a face both familiar and strange. It found craters upon craters, the record of billions of years of impacts, scars laid over scars, a surface that remembers everything that has ever struck it, because there is almost no air and almost no water to smooth the memory away. On your own world, the wind and the rain and the slow breathing of living things erase the past, softening old wounds, hiding old scars beneath green and growing cover. But Mercury forgets nothing. Every impact it has ever suffered is still written on its face, preserved in the airless calm, a history you could read like rings in ancient wood. And yet there is nothing sorrowful in this remembering. The craters are not wounds that ache. They are simply the shape the world has taken, the record of its long endurance, each one a place where something struck and the world absorbed the blow and went on turning. The survivor beside the fire wears its scars the same way, not as pain, but as texture, not as grief, but as the plain and settled evidence of having lasted. Among the things that Patient Machine found was one great scar larger than the rest, an enormous basin gouged into Mercury long ago by a tremendous impact, so large that the shock of it seems to have rippled all the way through the little world and disturbed the ground on the far side. Picture the size of that. A blow so great that its echo traveled through the whole body of a planet and lifted the land on the opposite face into a strange, jumbled terrain. And even so, the world held together. Still, it drew itself back into a sphere and kept its orbit and went on. If ever there were an emblem of enduring what should not be endured, it is this small planet that took a blow felt from one side clear through to the other and remained. You have taken blows too. In your own long life, some of them felt clear through you. And here you are, at rest gathered, tranquil whole, yet turning, lying here in the restful, ready for rest. The scar is not the end of the story. The turning is the story. Now let us leave the history behind for a while, and let us drift. Let yourself be carried. Imagine, if it pleases you, that you have slipped free of your bed and your room and the whole weight of your ordinary evening, and that you are being carried, softly and without effort, out across the dark, toward the little world we have been speaking of. You do not have to travel. You are being taken, held safely the whole way, the way a small child asleep in a moving car is carried without ever having to wake. There is no rush in the journey and no fear in it. The great dark opens around you, vast and calm, scattered with faint and distant lights, and you move through it the way a leaf moves on slow water, going where the current gently takes you, needing to do nothing, needing to steer nothing, simply carried. As you drift inward, toward the light, the sun grows slowly larger ahead of you, but it does not blind or burn you here in this imagining, for you are only a watcher, weightless and unharmed, drifting where you please. And below you, at last, the little gray world rises into view, turning with immense slowness, its cratered face catching the strong light along one edge and falling into deep shadow along the other. You settle above it, hanging in place, held by nothing, needing nothing. And you look down at Mercury the way you might look down at a sleeping companion, with tenderness and without any wish to disturb it. It turns so slowly beneath you that you cannot see it move at all. The long shadows lie unmoving across the plains. The bright rims of the craters glow softly along the line where day meets night, and you simply hover there, carried and held, breathing easy, watching the slow world turn. Let yourself sink into the silence of that place, because Mercury is a world of the most profound undisturbed. There is almost no air to carry sound, and so if you could stand upon its surface, you would stand inside a stillness deeper than any silence you have ever known, a hush so total that it wraps around you like the softest of coverings. No wind moves, no water runs, no leaf stirs, for there are no leaves, and no branches, and no living rustle of any kind. There is only the gray ground beneath you, and the black sky above, and the great slow sun, and the enormous, all-encompassing muted. To some this might sound lonely, but feel it instead as rest. Feel it as the deepest kind of peace, a place where nothing clamors for your attention, where no sound tugs at you, where there is nothing at all you must respond to. The whole world is holding its breath, and you are held within that holding, safe and weightless and utterly unbothered, drifting in the vast serene hush of a place where nothing has hurried in billions of years. And imagine now the slowness of the light upon that surface, for we spoke earlier of Mercury's long day, and here, drifting above it, you can feel that slowness in your very bones. The line between day and night creeps across the land beneath you at a pace so unhurried that watching it is like watching the hour hand of a clock, a movement you cannot catch happening, yet know is always underway. The dawn, down there, is not breaking. It is unfolding, spreading its warmth across the gray plains one patient inch at a time, warming ground that has lain in shadow for the length of what would be many of your own weeks. Nothing is startled by this light. Nothing is rushed by it. It comes so slowly that every crater has time to fill gradually with warmth. Every shadow has time to shorten by degrees. Every stone has time to catch the light without hurry. And you, watching from above, feel your own breathing slow to match that ancient patient dawn, each breath as long and easy as the creeping of the light, in and out, unhurried, going nowhere, needing nothing, carried, come down now, in your imagining, and rest for a moment upon the surface itself, in a place of shadow, where it is cool and still and safe. Feel the ground beneath you, ancient beyond reckoning, dust that has lain undisturbed since before there was anything alive on your own world to disturb it. You are lying on some of the oldest, most untroubled ground in the whole inner solar system, ground that has kept its place and it's hushed through every age of everything you have ever known. And above you arches the black sky, scattered with steady, unwinking stars. For there is no air here to make them twinkle, only the pure clear dark and the still points of distant light. You could lie here, in this imagining, and let time wash over you as slowly as it washes over the little world itself, feeling utterly small and utterly safe. A single serene mind resting on an ancient tranquil stone, held by the vast serene dark, with nothing at all required of you. And there, in the low light near the horizon, keep the small survivor beside its fire. Perhaps, in this dream of Mercury, the fire is the great slow sun itself, hanging enormous and warm at the edge of the black sky. And the survivor is the little world, holding its ancient place beside that fire, as it has held it since the beginning, asking nothing, proving nothing, simply enduring in the warmth. Or perhaps the survivor is you, drifting here, holding your own small circle of peaceful in the vast dark, keeping your place beside your own faint warmth, having come through your own long day, needing to prove nothing tonight at all. Let the two of you keep watch together, the little world and the little mind, both of you carried, both of you held, both of you simply and peacefully enduring in the deep serene hush of the turning dark. Let us stay with the body a while longer, because there is something worth feeling about weight and lightness here. Mercury is a small world, and its pull is far weaker than the pull you know. If you could stand upon it, you would feel lighter than you have ever felt, your steps buoyant, your whole frame unburdened, as though a great heaviness you had carried all your life had been quietly set down. Feel that now, even here in your bed. Let your body imagine that lightening, that easing of every burden of weight, as though the ground beneath you had grown tender and generous, and let go of a portion of its ancient grip. Your limbs grow lighter. Your chest grows lighter. The whole long day, with all it asked you to carry, grows lighter, until you feel almost as though you might drift up from where you lie, held only by the softest of tethers, buoyant and unburdened and free. This is not a leaving of your body, it is a loosening of it, a letting go of the weight you did not know you were still holding, so that you may rest more fully, more completely, more easily than before. There is a truth in that lightness worth resting on. So much of what we carry out of habit, long after there is any need. We hold our shoulders tight against troubles that have already passed. We keep our jaw set against dangers that never came. We brace and grip and steady ourselves against a weight that is often more memory than fact. And tonight, drifting above the little world, where everything weighs less, you have permission to discover how much of your own burden you can simply set down. Not because it was never real, but because it does not need holding now. Let your hands unclench. Let your brow smooth. Let the muscles along your back and your neck and your legs remember what it is to hold nothing at all. The survivor beside the fire holds nothing tonight either. It has set down everything it came through, and it rests in the warmth, light and easy, keeping only its place and its low breath. Let us turn now, while you drift, to the matter of scale, for there is a particular comfort that comes from placing yourself within the sheer vastness of things, and Mercury is a fine small doorway into that comfort. Consider first how tiny Mercury is against the sun it circles. The sun is so enormous that you could pour more than 1,000,000 worlds the size of your own into it and still have room to spare, and Mercury, smaller than your world, is a mere speck beside that blazing immensity, a grain of dark iron circling a furnace beyond imagining. And yet the grain endures. The speck holds its orbit. The tiny thing keeps its faithful place beside the vast thing, and neither is troubled by the difference in their sizes. There is no anxiety in the little world about being small. It simply is what it is, exactly the size it is, doing exactly what it does, and that is entirely enough. Now widen the view further, slowly, the way you might slowly lean back to take in a great mountain range. Beyond Mercury lies your own world, and beyond that the red desert world, and beyond that the great banded giants, and beyond them the pale ringed one, and the tilted blue one, and the far dim one, and beyond all of those, the enormous dark in which the sun itself is only one star among a staggering multitude, a single glowing point among hundreds of billions of stars wheeling slowly in a great, bright wheel we call our galaxy. And that galaxy, in turn, is one among a number of galaxies so vast that no mind can truly hold it, scattered across a darkness whose edges we cannot find. You live within an immensity that has no measure you could ever feel the whole of. And here is the thing I want you to feel, not as fear, but as the deepest possible rest. In all that vastness, you do not have to hold anything up. You do not have to keep anything running. The great wheel turns without your effort. The stars burn without your tending. The little gray world keeps its orbit whether or not you are awake to think of it. The whole enormous machinery of everything runs on entirely without you tonight, and this is not a loneliness. It is a permission. You may let go completely, and nothing will fall. Feel how small your worries become against that scale, not crushed, not dismissed, but simply set into proportion, the way a loud sound becomes faint when you walk far enough away from it. The things that pressed on you today, the words you wish you had said differently, the task left unfinished, the small ache of something not going as you hoped. All of these are real, and all of them matter in their place, and all of them are also seen from far enough away, so very small against the turning of the galaxies that you can let them rest now, unheld, unminded, for the length of one long night. The universe does not need you to solve them before morning. It asks nothing of you at all tonight, except, perhaps, that you rest. And the little world we have been watching, that improbable survivor beside the fire, asks nothing of you either. It has kept its place for billions of years without your worry, and it will keep it a while longer, whether you sleep or wake. So you may as well sleep. There is a particular kind of comfort, too, in the great age of everything, and Mercury is very old, nearly as old as the solar system itself, formed in the first small stretch of time when everything was gathering out of the disk of dust and fire around the young sun. When you rest your mind on that little world, you are resting it on something more than 4.5 billion years old. Something that was already ancient before the first living thing stirred on your own world, something that has watched the whole long history of everything you have ever known unfold from its slow orbit near the sun. And it endured through all of it. It was there when your own world was a ball of molten rock. It was there through the long, slow cooling, through the coming of the oceans, through the first faint stirrings of life, through the rise and fall of countless generations, through every single thing that has ever happened, and it simply kept turning, keeping its place, asking nothing, proving nothing. There is a steadiness in that great age you can lean against tonight, the way you might lean against an ancient tree or an old stone wall, feeling how it has stood through so much and will stand through so much more, and letting its steadiness become, for a while, your own. And think how many nights like this one that little world has quietly witnessed, though of course it does not witness, does not watch, has no eyes and no mind, but bear with the gentle fancy of it. Through all the billions of years, on your own world, there have been nights, night after night after night, dark and faint, with living things settling down to rest. And through all of them, Mercury has turned its slow turn near the sun, keeping its place, an old and faithful companion to all the sleeping that has ever happened here. Tonight is one more of those nights, one more small calmer settling into rest, joining the countless others that have gone before, and the little world turns on, faithful as ever, keeping its place beside the fire while you keep yours beside your own. You are not the first to lie down under the same sky it circles. You will not be the last. And there is a soft companionship in that, a sense of belonging to something vast and old and patient that can carry you down gently towards sleep. Let us return now to the surface of things, to the actual texture of that gray world, because there is rest to be found in the plain details of it, the way there is rest in running your hand slowly over a smooth and familiar object. Mercury's face is a soft gray, darker than the moon in places, a muted and restful color under the strong light of the near sun. Across it run long lines and ridges, wrinkles in the crust, formed as the whole little world slowly cooled and shrank over the ages, drawing itself in like fruit drying in the sun, its skin gathering into long, gentle folds. Imagine that, a whole planet slowly contracting across billions of years, so gradually that the shrinking gathered its stone surface into great curving wrinkles that stretch for enormous distances across the plains. These are called, fittingly, the wrinkle ridges, and they are among the most peaceful features you could picture, the marks of a world settling into itself, growing a little smaller and a little more compact with the passing of unimaginable time, the way a sleeper settles and softens and grows small and compact under a warm cover on a cold night. Feel that settling in your own body now. Just as the little world drew itself gently inward as it cooled, let yourself draw gently inward toward rest. Let your body settle and soften and grow compact under whatever covers you, curling however feels most natural, gathering yourself into the warmth. There is no need to lie stiff or straight or arranged. Let yourself fold as the sleeping world folds, easily, naturally, into the shape that rest wants to take. And as you settle, feel how good it is simply to grow smaller and warmer and quieter, to draw in, to gather, to let the wide, busy reach of the day contract down into this one small, warm place where you are. This one undisturbed fold of rest, where nothing reaches you and nothing asks anything of you, and the only motion left is the slow, easy rise and fall of your own breathing. Let us come back, now that we have drifted and settled, to the deep puzzle at the center of this whole night, the sense in which Mercury truly does defy the neat expectations we bring to it, and let us turn that puzzle slowly, without any need to solve it, the way you might turn a curious shell found on a beach. We said that Mercury has far too much iron for a world of its size, and that this is the great riddle. But there is a subtler layer to it that is worth feeling. When scientists imagined how such a metal-heavy world might come to be, the leading idea for a long while was the Great Collision, the tremendous blow that stripped away the outer rock. And yet, when the patient machine reached Mercury and studied its surface closely, it found something that did not quite fit that story. It found, on the surface, generous amounts of certain lighter, more volatile substances, delicate materials that a violent, scorching collision should have driven away entirely. The world was supposed to have been stripped and baked, and yet its face still held these tender, easily lost things. And so the simple story cracked, and the mystery deepened, and it remains open to this day. Sit with how lovely that is, that a world can hold two contradictory clues at once and keep its secret still. Here is a planet that looks, by its density, as though it were violently stripped down to its metal heart. And here is that same planet, holding on its surface the very delicate substances that such violence should have erased. Both things are true. Both are written into the little world. And rather than forcing us to choose, the contradiction simply invites us to keep wondering, to keep looking, to hold the two clues side by side and let them rest together, unresolved, as we spoke of earlier, the fire and the ice held in one small body without conflict. You do not need the answer tonight. No one has the answer tonight. And there is a great and unexpected peace in that, in lying down beside a genuine mystery that no one on your whole world has yet unraveled, and feeling no urgency about it at all, only a slow and easy wonder that asks nothing of you. New travelers are on their way to Mercury even now, in the real waking world, spacecraft crossing the long dark on their patient looping paths, slowing themselves down across years so that one day they may be caught into orbit around the little gray world and study it more closely than ever before. And they go precisely because of the mystery, because of the riddle we have been turning over, because a world that should not exist as it does is exactly the kind of thing that draws the patient and the curious across enormous distances to look. Somewhere out in the dark tonight, as you lie here drifting towards sleep, a small human-made machine is falling slowly through space toward Mercury, carrying instruments and hopes, threading its careful path, in no more hurry than the little world it seeks. It will arrive when it arrives. It cannot be rushed. And there is something companionable in knowing that out in the vast muted, that patient traveler is making its slow way toward the same little world you are thinking of now, both of you moving toward Mercury tonight. One across space, and one only in the mind, both of you unhurried, both of you at peace. Let us think, too, about how the little world moves, because its orbit is one of the most graceful and unusual in the whole family of planets, and there is rest in tracing it slowly. Most of the planets travel around the Sun on paths that are very nearly circular, keeping almost the same distance from the light throughout their year. But Mercury's path is more of an ellipse, a gentle oval, so that at one point in its year it swings in closer to the Sun, and at another it draws farther out. And because of this, the little world speeds up as it falls inward toward the Sun and slows as it climbs back out, quickening and easing, in a rhythm as old as the solar system itself. It is this changing speed, woven together with its slow turning, that gives rise to the strange long days we spoke of, and even to that curious moment when the Sun, seen from certain places on Mercury, seems to slow and pause and slide backward a little way in the sky before going on. The whole thing is a slow and intricate dance, a weaving of two motions into a pattern that repeats and repeats across the ages, faithful and unhurried and endlessly the same. Let the rhythm of that dance become the rhythm of your breath. In, as the little world falls toward the warmth and quickens. Out, as it climbs away and eases. In and out, quickening and slowing, drawing near and drifting back. An old and faithful rhythm that has kept itself going for billions of years without ever once needing to be told to continue. Your breath is like that too. An old and faithful motion that keeps itself going without your effort, drawing in and letting out, near and away, quick and slow, all on its own, all night long, whether you attend to it or not. You do not have to breathe. The breathing happens, faithfully, the way the little world orbits, the way the great wheel turns, the way everything vast and small keeps its own hushed motion going through the dark. So you may let even your breathing go, entrusting it to the same patient force that keeps the planets in their paths, and simply rest inside it, carried by it, as the little world is carried along its long, slow oval through the ages. There is a stillness at the heart of all that motion, and this is one of the strangest and most restful truths of all. Mercury is moving astonishingly fast, sweeping around the Sun more quickly than any other planet, hurtling through space at a speed beyond anything you could feel or picture. And yet, from the little world's own point of view, from its own frame, it is not rushing anywhere at all. It simply follows its path, held by the Sun's pull, falling endlessly around the light in a fall that never lands, and there is no wind of its passing, no sense of speed, no strain of the great velocity. It is at once the fastest of the planets, and in itself perfectly serene, going nowhere in a hurry though it crosses vast distances, at rest within its own tremendous motion. And you, tonight, though the world you lie upon is itself turning and racing through space at speeds you cannot feel, are likewise perfectly still within all that motion, at rest inside a moving thing, carried at enormous speed through the dark, and feeling only the deep serene of your own bed. You are already doing the impossible thing the little world does. You are already flying and resting at once. Let that be enough. Let that carry you. Let us return to the ice, because it is one of the most tender surprises of the whole little world, and worth resting in for a while. We said that Mercury holds fire and cold together, that its sunlit face grows hot enough to melt some metals, while its shadowed craters keep a cold deeper than almost anywhere near the Sun. And in those permanently shadowed places, at the poles, where the low angle of the light means the Sun never once reaches the crater floors, there is water ice, real frozen water, tucked away in the dark, holding on across billions of years in the coldest corners of the hottest-faced world. Think of how improbable that is, how tender. The planet nearest the sun, drenched in fire, keeps a small secret of ice in its shadows, hidden away, protected by the very depth of the dark, preserved by cold rather than destroyed by heat. The most extreme of neighbors to the great fire holds, in its hidden folds, the gentlest and most fragile of things, and holds it faithfully, and has held it since almost the beginning. There is a truth in that ice worth carrying down towards sleep. Even in the harshest of places, even right beside the greatest of fires, there are pockets of deep tranquil where fragile and tender things can be kept safe. The shadow is not always a danger. Sometimes the shadow is exactly what protects. Sometimes the coldest, stillest, most hidden corner is the very place where something precious is preserved, held gently out of the reach of all that would scorch it away, and you, tonight, are entering your own permanently shadowed place, your own deep and protected peaceful, a pocket of stillness where the tender parts of you can be kept safe from all the heat of the day. Nothing reaches you here. Nothing scorches you here. Here in the deep, cool shadow of sleep, the most fragile things you carry are held safe, preserved, undisturbed, the way that ancient ice is held safe in the shadowed craters of the little world, out of the reach of the fire, low and whole and lasting. Let us think, while we rest in the shadow, about the sky one would see from Mercury, for it is a strange and beautiful sky, and picturing it is its own kind of drifting. Because there is almost no air, the sky above Mercury is not blue as yours is, but black, deep black, even in the full blaze of day. Imagine that. Standing on the sunlit ground, in the strong warm light, and looking up not into brightness, but into a pure and endless black scattered with steady stars, the great sun hanging in that blackness, enormous and near. And around it, if you are patient, the faint gathered light of everything else. There is no soft blue dome overhead to close you in, no bright ceiling of scattered light. There is only the true dark, always, the honest black of space itself, holding the stars even at noon. It sounds as though it might be stark, but feel it instead as a great openness, a sky that never closes, a ceiling of pure depth that goes on forever, so that even standing on solid ground you would feel yourself standing at the open edge of the whole vast cosmos, with nothing between you and the endless deep. And in that black sky, from Mercury, your own world would appear only as a small bright point of light, a modest star among the others, blue-white and faint, far away across the dark. Think of it. Everything you have ever known, every place you have ever been, everyone you have ever loved, all of it gathered onto that single small point of light hanging in the black Mercurian sky. And from that distance, all of it, all the vast complicated weight of an entire world, would look no larger than the faintest of stars, faint and small and peaceful, giving no sign of all the striving and worrying and hurrying happening upon it. Seen from far enough away, even your whole world grows calmer. Even all its trouble softens into a single faint and peaceful light, and your own small share of that trouble, the worries you carried into this room tonight, are quieter still, smaller still. So small against the great dark that they cannot possibly follow you down into sleep. Let them stay up there, a faint flicker on a distant point of light, while you go down into the deep restful shadow, unreachable, unburdened, at rest. We have spoken of the survivor beside the fire many times tonight, and I want to gather that figure close now, and let it grow warm and clear in your mind as you drift. Picture it once more, the dark all around, vast and deep and cold, and there, a single point of warmth, a fire, low and orange and faithful, and beside it, keeping its place, the small survivor, having come through so much, having been struck and stripped and shaped by more than we can imagine, and yet here still, warm still, whole enough still, asking nothing, proving nothing, simply keeping its place beside the warmth in the great dark. It does not need to explain how it survived. It does not need to justify its staying. It does not need to be larger or brighter or grander than it is. It only needs to keep its small circle of heat and go on enduring, easily, without strain, the way a thing endures when it has finally set down every burden it was carrying. And that, tonight, is exactly what you are invited to do. To be the survivor beside the fire. To keep your own small warm place in the dark, having come through your own long day, and to ask nothing more of yourself than to stay and be warm and rest. Let us follow the fire a little further, because there is comfort in warmth, and the little world knows warmth as few things do. It lives closer to the great fire than any other planet, bathed always in the strong light of the near sun, and though we have spoken of its cold shadows, most of what Mercury knows is warmth. The steady, ancient, unfailing warmth of the star it circles. For billions of years, the little world has hung there in that warmth, close to the source of all the light and heat in the whole solar system, warmed through and through, the nearest of all the sun's children to the hearth. And you tonight can feel that same steady warmth, the warmth of wherever you lie, the warmth your own body makes and keeps beneath its covers, the warmth of being alive and safe and held in a place that keeps the cold away. Feel it now, the warmth gathered around you, along your back, across your chest, wrapped around your feet, a small faithful warmth like the little world's own, keeping you exactly as warm as you need to be, asking nothing, simply holding you in comfort as you drift. There is a deep old comfort in warmth that goes back further than any of us, back to the first fires our distant ancestors ever kindled in the dark, gathering close around the flame for heat and safety and the simple animal comfort of the light against the night. Something in us still knows that comfort, still settles and eases at the sense of warmth in the dark, still feels safe when we are warm and held while the cold and the night stay outside. And tonight, you have that ancient comfort, fully. You are warm. You are held. The night is outside and cannot reach you. And out in the great dark, the little world keeps its own place beside its own great fire, warm as you are warm, safe in its long orbit as you are safe in your bed, both of you gathered close to the warmth against the vast cold night, both of you at ease, both of you enduring, quietly and without effort, in the deep and faithful comfort of the fire. Let us think, while you rest in that warmth, about how the little world came to be at all, going back to the very beginning, slowly, the way you might tell a long and familiar bedtime story whose ending you already know. In the beginning, before there were any planets, there was a great slow cloud of gas and dust adrift in the dark, one small patch of the vast raw material of the cosmos, hanging quietly in space. And that cloud, over long ages, began to draw itself together, gathering inward under its own faint pull, growing slowly denser at its center, until at the heart of it the young sun kindled into light, and around that new light spun a broad flat disk of leftover dust and gas, turning slowly, and within that disk the little grains began, ever so gradually, to stick to one another, to gather, to clump, forming first specks, then pebbles, then boulders, then whole small worlds, all of it happening across immense stretches of time, unhurried, patient, without any rush at all. And in the warm inner region of that disk, close to the new sun, where only the hardiest materials could endure the heat, the grains that gathered were rich in metal and rock, and from them the inner worlds slowly took shape, and Mercury among them, drawing itself together out of the metal-rich dust nearest the fire. It was not built in a day, or a year, or 1,000 years. It gathered itself across long ages, grain finding grain, clump joining clump, slowly, patiently, until at last there was a little world, dense and warm and new, keeping its place in the disk near the young sun. And there is something wonderfully restful in that slow gathering, the way a whole world can assemble itself with no hurry at all, simply by the patient drawing together of small things over long time, until what was scattered dust becomes a whole and rounded world. You, too, are a gathering of small things drawn slowly together, and tonight you may simply rest inside your own undisturbed gathering, whole and rounded and complete, needing to assemble nothing further, needing only to be. Consider how young worlds glow, for when Mercury first gathered itself together, it was not cold and gray as it is now, but hot, hot with the heat of its own making, glowing softly in the dark, a small warm ember of a world newly formed. The energy of all those gathering pieces, of all the small collisions that built it, went into heat, and the young world simmered and glowed, its metal sinking slowly toward the center to form that great iron heart, its rock rising to make the thin outer shell. And then, across the long ages, it cooled, slowly, slowly, giving up its warmth to the dark, its surface hardening, its glow fading, until it became the muted gray world we know, keeping only that small stubborn ember still turning at its core. Picture that long cooling, that patient fading from bright to hushed, and let your own body follow it. Feel yourself cooling gently from the heat and brightness of the day, your own inner fires banking down, your glow softening, your surface quieting, until only a small faithful warmth remains at your center, turning slowly, keeping you, while the rest of you settles into cool, gray rest. We have wandered far tonight, through the puzzle of the iron heart, through the long history of the Watchers, through the drifting above the surface and the resting in the shadow, through the scale of the vast dark and the comfort of the fire. And I want you to notice now how little of it you can precisely recall, and how that is exactly as it should be. You are not meant to hold these things. They were never given to you to keep. They were given to you the way a slow river is given to a leaf that floats upon it, only to carry you, only to move beneath you and bear you along, so that the details slip past and away, and it does not matter in the least, because the carrying was the whole point. Let the facts blur. Let the images soften. Let the whole long wandering dissolve into a warm, indistinct murmur that you no longer need to follow. You have been carried this far. You may let go of even the carrying now and simply drift the rest of the way down on your own. Let us feel one more time the great slowness of Mercury's day, because it is the deepest well of rest in this whole little world, and we can lower ourselves into it now more fully than before. Remember that on Mercury a single day is longer than a year, that the sun takes an age to cross the black sky, that the dawn unfolds not in minutes, but across the length of what would be weeks of your own time. There is no faster clock anywhere in the little world's turning. There is no hurry built into it at all. Everything that happens on Mercury happens at the pace of eons, and if you could stand upon it, you would find that every possible reason to rush had been quietly removed from the universe around you. There would be nowhere the light needed to reach by any particular moment. There would be no hour by which anything must be done. There would be only the long, slow turning, the patient creeping of the light, the vast, unhurried breathing of a world for which a single day outlasts a year. Borrow that clock now, fully, for the rest of the night. Let time stretch out around you until it loses all its edges, until minutes and hours mean nothing, until there is only the long, slow turning of your own breath and the deep serene all around. There is nowhere you have to be by any hour. There is nothing that must be done by any time. The morning, whenever it comes, will come as slowly and as kindly as a Mercurian dawn, unfolding without hurry, asking nothing of you until it is fully arrived. And between now and then lies a vast and unhurried stretch of rest, as long and as patient as the little world's own long day, in which you have nothing to do at all but sink, and soften, and drift, and let the slow turning carry you down. Let each breath be as long as a dawn. Let each moment stretch as wide as an age. There is time. There is so much time. There is nothing but time, and tranquil, and warmth, and rest. Let us return once more to the survivor beside the fire, for we are drawing now toward the close of our long wandering, and I want this figure to be warm and near you as you go the rest of the way down into sleep. See it there, in the low orange light, keeping its faithful place. It has come through everything. It has been struck and stripped and shaped, cooled and cratered and worn. And through all of it, across ages beyond counting, it has simply kept its place beside the fire, asking nothing, proving nothing, enduring without strain. It does not lie awake beside the flame, worrying over how it survived or whether it deserved to. It does not turn its scars over and over in the dark. It simply rests in the warmth, whole enough, present enough, at peace enough, letting the fire hold the cold at bay and asking no more of the night than to be allowed to stay. That is the whole of its wisdom, and it is enough. To stay, to be warm, to rest, to ask nothing more of this night than to be carried through it, and to trust that the carrying will be enough. Let us drift a while longer through the details of that gray world, for there is rest in lingering, and no reason at all to hurry toward any conclusion. Think of the surface once more, the ancient plains stretching away under the black sky, dust the color of ash, laid down and undisturbed for longer than there has been life anywhere you know. In some places the ground is smooth, filled long ago by floods of molten rock that welled up and spread and cooled into wide, flat plains. In other places it is rough and broken, thick with craters of every size, from the tiny to the immense, overlapping and crowding one another, each one a soft round hollow scooped out by an ancient impact and left to sit, unchanging, in the airless calm. And here and there rise the long wrinkle ridges we spoke of, and the great scarps, the tall cliffs where the shrinking crust buckled and one sheet of stone rode up over another, casting their long, slow shadows across the plains. It is a landscape of enormous age and enormous stillness, a place where nothing has changed in an unimaginable span of time, where every feature has had ages upon ages to simply sit and settle and be. Imagine walking there, slowly, in your dream, across those ancient plains, though of course no one walks on Mercury, and you would need to be held safe in the imagining from the heat and the airlessness. But in a dream, you may go where you please. and you may walk there in perfect safety. Your steps light in the weak pull of the little world, your feet stirring the ancient dust that has lain still for so long. There is no sound to your walking, only the deep silence. There is no wind against your face, only the still black sky above and the gray plains stretching away in every direction toward a near horizon. For the little world is small and curves away more quickly than yours does, so that you seem to walk on the top of a small round world with the whole cosmos arching close around you. You could walk there for an age and meet nothing, disturb nothing, be troubled by nothing. Only the quiet and the ancient ground and the near black sky full of steady stars and the great slow sun hanging warm and enormous at the edge of everything. And as you walk, you might come at last to the rim of one of the great craters and look down into it, into a vast soft bowl scooped from the ancient rock, its floor far below, its walls terraced and gentle. And if it were one of the shadowed polar craters, you might look down into a well of permanent cool darkness where the ice hides, a deep still place the light has never touched. And you might sit there, on the rim, in your dream, and rest, looking down into that ancient hollow, feeling how old it is, how long it has sat there, quietly holding its shadow and its secret, and feeling how welcome it would be simply to climb down into that deep, cool stillness and lie there in the dark and rest as the ice rests, undisturbed, out of the reach of all the fire, held safe in the shadow for as long as you liked. There is such a place in you now, tonight, a deep, cool, shadowed hollow where you may climb down and rest, out of the reach of everything, held safe in the dark. And you are climbing down into it even now, slowly, easily, going deeper with each slow breath. Let us think about the near horizon of that small world, because there is something oddly comforting in it. Because Mercury is small, its surface curves away more sharply than the surface you are used to, so that the horizon stands closer and the world seems to draw in around you, near and intimate rather than vast and far. Standing there, you would feel yourself upon a small round thing, held close, the ground curving gently away on every side, the whole little world compact and near beneath you. It is not the wide, flat, endless seeming reach of a larger world, but something smaller, cozier, more contained. A little round world you could almost hold in your mind all at once, turning quietly beneath the stars. And there is a comfort in the small and the contained, in the sense of a world drawn in close around you, rather than stretching away beyond all reach. Tonight your own world is small like that, drawn in close, only as large as the warm space where you lie, the covers near, the pillow near, the whole of your world contracted down to this one small warm round place where you rest, near and contained and safe, curving gently away on every side into the quiet dark. I want to return, before we begin the long, slow ending, to the deep and steady comfort of the fact that the little world asks nothing of you, and never has, and never will. Through every night of your life, Mercury has kept its place near the sun, turning its slow turn, and it has never once needed your attention to do so. It kept its orbit through all the nights you slept soundly, and all the nights you lay awake, through every worry you ever carried, and every trouble you ever faced, entirely indifferent to whether you thought of it at all, faithful not because you tended it, but simply because that is what it does. And it will keep its place through all the nights to come, through this one, and the next, and every one after. Whether you are there to think of it or not, there is such rest in that, in the presence of something so faithful and so entirely undemanding, something that will simply go on steadily, whether you attend to it or not, so that you may safely let it go. Let everything go, and sink into sleep knowing that the great slow turning of things needs nothing at all from you tonight. The little world will keep its place. You may let go of yours and rest. Feel now how far down you have come, how much of the day's tightness has already unwound, how much heavier and warmer and slower you have grown across this long, slow wandering. Your breath has lengthened. Your body has settled. The busy reach of the day has drawn in and quieted the way the little world's whole surface has settled into its ancient calm. There is very little left to do now, but continue this slow descent, breath by breath, sinking a little deeper with each one, letting go a little more with each one, following the little world's own patient example, asking nothing of yourself, proving nothing, simply keeping your warm place in the dark and letting the slow turning carry you the rest of the way down. You do not have to try to sleep. Sleep is not a thing you do. It is a thing that comes, on its own, quietly, when you have sat down enough, and you have sat down so much already tonight, and there is so little left to hold. Let us take one more slow turn through the great question of the night, the question that gives this whole wandering its shape, now that you are drifting so far down. Why should Mercury not exist, and yet exist it does? We have seen that it is too dense, too rich in iron, for a world of its size. We have seen that it sits in a place so battered by the young sun's fire that the lighter, tender materials should have been driven off or scorched away. We have seen that it should have cooled to a cold dead stone long ago, and yet keeps a warm turning heart and a faint magnetic breath. We have seen that its surface holds clues that contradict one another, delicate substances that violence should have erased sitting alongside the marks of a world stripped down to its metal core. By rule after rule, expectation after expectation, this little world looks like something that should not have survived to be as it is. And yet there it is, turning faithfully near the sun, as real and solid and present as anything in the whole cosmos, quietly refusing to be impossible. And here is the deep and restful truth at the bottom of it all. The universe is under no obligation to match our expectations. Our rules and our reasonings are our own, our best attempts to make sense of a cosmos that was here long before we began to wonder about it and will be here long after. And now and then the cosmos hands us something like Mercury, something that does not fit, something that sits calmly outside our rules and simply is what it is. And in doing so, it invites us not to anxiety, but to humility, to wonder, to the loosening of our grip on how we thought things must be. There is such freedom in that, such rest. You do not have to have the world figured out in order to lie down in it. You do not have to resolve every contradiction, close every question, make everything fit. Before you may sleep, the little world does not fit, and it rests untroubled near the fire all the same, and so may you. You may lie down in the midst of all that you do not understand, all that does not fit, all that remains open and unresolved, and you may rest there as easily and as deeply as the little world rests, asking nothing, resolving nothing, simply being, warm and whole, in the great unfinished quiet of it all. There is a kind of courage in the little world's mere existence that is worth resting against, though it is the quietest courage imaginable, a courage with nothing to prove. It does not defy the rules loudly or grandly. It simply, quietly, is, in the face of every reason it should not be, keeping its place, turning its turn, holding its warm heart, enduring. And in that quiet endurance there is a lesson you may carry down into sleep, not as a thought to hold, but as a warmth to rest in. You too are here in the face of a great deal that might have gone otherwise. You too have survived what might have unmade you, have kept your place through storms you did not choose, have endured more than anyone watching could easily see. And you too have nothing to prove tonight, no case to make for your own existence, no justification to offer for taking up your warm place in the dark. You may simply be here, as the little world simply is there, quietly, without argument, and let that be entirely enough. And rest. Let us gather ourselves now, slowly, and begin the long turning toward the close, though there is no hurry even in this, no sharp edge to it, only the same slow easing we have kept all night. You have wandered a long way tonight, across a great deal of dark, in the company of a small strange world and a small quiet survivor beside a fire. And now the wandering is nearly done, and there is nothing left ahead of you but rest, deep and warm and long. Let the images begin to soften and blur. Let the gray plains in the black sky and the great slow sun begin to fade into a warm, indistinct glow. Let the little world drift out of focus, keeping its faithful place out there in the dark, whether you can picture it clearly or not. And let yourself sink the last of the way down, unhurried, carried, warm, into the deep quiet that has been waiting for you all along, patient as a Mercurian dawn, ready to receive you whenever you are ready to let go. Tonight has been about a small world that should not exist, and yet does, and about all the quiet ways that its impossible existence turns out to be a comfort rather than a puzzle. Tonight has been about the great iron heart hidden at the center of a little gray world, and the warm turning ember that still moves there after all this time, faithful and unexplained. Tonight has been about fire held beside ice in a single small body, neither troubling the other, and about the ancient ice kept safe in the deep cool shadows out of the reach of all the heat. Tonight has been about the long, slow day that outlasts a year, the dawn that unfolds across ages, the clock with no hurry in it at all, which you have borrowed for your own long night. Tonight has been about the patient watchers across thousands of years who followed a faint light low on the horizon, and about the patient travelers who slowed themselves across years of dark to reach the swiftest of worlds. Tonight has been about the vast scale of things, the great turning that needs nothing at all from you, and the deep permission to let everything go and know that nothing will fall. And through all of it, tonight has been about the small survivor beside the fire, keeping its place in the dark, having come through everything, asking nothing, proving nothing, simply enduring in the warmth. It has been about staying. It has been about warmth. It has been about rest. It has been about staying and warmth and rest. It has been about the quiet endurance of a small thing beside a great fire, and about how you, tonight, are exactly that small thing, keeping your own warm place in the dark, having come through your own long day, with nothing left to prove and nothing left to hold. None of this needs anything from you tonight. None of it ever did. It was only ever here to carry you, to move slowly beneath you and bear you along, and now that it has carried you this far, it asks only that you let go the rest of the way, and drift, and sleep. But we are not quite at the ending yet, and there is time still for a little more slow wandering, for the night is long and there is no reason to rush toward its close. Let us return, while you drift, to the strange and beautiful matter of how the little world keeps time, because in it there is a rhythm you can rest inside more deeply than before. We said that Mercury turns slowly on its axis while hurrying quickly around the sun, and that these two motions are woven together in a special way, so that for every 2 of its long years, it turns exactly 3 times upon itself. Feel the tidiness of that, the way the 2 rhythms lock together into a slow, steady pattern that repeats and repeats without variation across the ages. It is called a resonance, this locking together of rhythms, and it is one of the most peaceful arrangements in all the heavens, a place where 2 motions have found a way to move together in perfect steady agreement, neither one fighting the other, both simply keeping their shared slow beat, faithfully, forever. There is such rest in a steady rhythm, in 2 motions that have found their agreement and hold it without strain. Your own body is full of such rhythms tonight. The slow beat of your heart, the long steady rise and fall of your breath, the deeper, slower rhythms of your rest itself, all of them settling now into their own quiet agreement, locking together into the steady pattern of sleep. You do not have to arrange them. They find their own resonance, the way the little world found its own, the way all things settle in time into the rhythm that suits them best. Let your heart and your breath and the deep, slow tides of your rest lock together now into their peaceful shared beat, steady and faithful and unhurried, carrying you along without any effort of yours, the way the little world is carried along by its own ancient rhythm through the dark. Let us think, too, about how the little world was named, and about the messenger it was named for, because there is a soft old poetry in it worth resting in. The ancients called it after a swift messenger, a traveler who moved quickly between distant places, carrying word from one to another, never staying long in any one spot. And it is a fitting name for the quickest of the planets, the one that darts closest to the sun and slips away again fastest of all. But there is a tender reading of the name too for tonight. Think of the little world as a faithful messenger that has been carrying the same quiet word across the ages, appearing low on the horizon at dusk and dawn to deliver it again and again to any who would look. And the word it carries is simply this: that endurance is possible, that a small thing may survive what should have unmade it, that a place of great extremity may also be a place of deep peace, that you may keep your warm place beside the fire, having come through everything, and rest. It has been carrying that word to the horizon for billions of years, and tonight, at last, you have received it, and you may let it settle into you and rest. Let us drift once more above the surface, one last slow drift before we begin the true ending. Rise up gently in your imagining, away from the ancient plains, and hang once more in the black above the turning world, held safely by nothing, weightless, and at ease. Below you the little gray world turns its slow turn, its bright edge glowing where the strong light catches the crater rims, its shadowed side falling away into deep, quiet dark, and beyond it, the great sun, warm and enormous, and beyond that, the scattered steady stars, and beyond them, the endless deep. And you, a single small watcher, hang there in the midst of all of it, carried and held, breathing slow and easy, needing nothing, wanting nothing, simply resting in the vast serene quiet above the ancient world. Let this be the last image, this drifting, this being held, this resting weightless above the little world in the great warm dark, and let it carry you now down the last of the way, softening and blurring as you go into sleep. The little world turns below you. The great fire burns warm at the edge of everything. The survivor keeps its place beside the flame, and you, held safe in the vast quiet dark, drift slowly down and down and down toward the deep warm rest that has been waiting for you all along. There is nothing left to do now. There is nowhere left to go. There is only the slow turning and the faithful warmth and the deep serene quiet carrying you the rest of the way. Let yourself be carried. Let yourself be held. Let yourself, at last, let go. And still there is time, for the night is generous, and we may linger a little longer yet in the warm dark before the final words. Let us rest, one more slow while, in the plain fact of the little world's faithfulness, for of all its qualities this may be the most soothing. Whatever else is true of Mercury, whatever mysteries it holds, and whatever rules it seems to break, it is above all things faithful. It keeps its orbit, it holds its place. It returns, always, to the same slow path near the sun, and has done so for billions of years, and will do so for billions more. There is nothing erratic in it, nothing that fails or falters, only the steady faithful keeping of its ancient place. And in a world where so much feels uncertain, so much feels as though it might slip or fail or come undone, there is a deep comfort in the presence of something so utterly faithful, something you could count on absolutely, something that will simply be there, keeping its place, no matter what. The little world is such a thing, and tonight you may lean the whole weight of your tired mind against its faithfulness and trust it to hold and rest. Let us feel, as we near the end, how the whole cosmos is full of such faithful keeping, such quiet, steady endurance, from the smallest to the largest of things. The little world keeps its orbit, the great sun keeps its burning, the vast slow wheel of the galaxy keeps its turning. Your own heart keeps its beating, and your breath keeps its rhythm faithfully all through the night, without your having to tend them. Everywhere, at every scale, things are simply keeping their faithful places, holding their steady rhythms, enduring quietly through the dark. And none of it needs your watching, and none of it needs your worry, and all of it will go on, faithfully, whether you wake or sleep. So you may sink now into the midst of all that faithful keeping, held on every side by things that will not fail, and let yourself go completely, knowing that the great steady turning of everything will hold you safe through the night, and be there still, keeping its faithful place when the slow dawn comes. Let us wander, in this generous stretch of remaining night, back through the great collision once more, for there is more rest to be drawn from it than we found the first time. Remember the story that long ago a young world may have been struck a tremendous blow, and much of its outer rock torn away and flung into the dark, leaving mostly the dense metal heart behind. When you first heard it, it may have sounded violent, even frightening, a great catastrophe visited upon a helpless young world. But feel now, in the deep quiet, how differently it settles. The blow came, the rock was lost. And the world did not end. It gathered itself, drew its remaining self back into a sphere, and continued, changed but whole, shaped by the very thing that might have destroyed it into precisely the enduring little world it is today. The catastrophe became the making. The loss became the shape. What was taken away became the reason it could last, dense and compact and enduring, near the fire, for all the long ages since. There is a way of holding your own losses that this story quietly teaches, if you wish to receive it, though you need not hold even this tonight. The things that have been taken from you across your life The parts of yourself that were stripped away by blows you did not choose, did not end you either. You gathered yourself, you drew back into a whole, and you continued. Changed, but present, shaped by what you lost into precisely the enduring person you are tonight, lying here, warm and whole enough, having come through. The loss was not only loss, it was also shape. It was also the making of the particular density and endurance that is yours, that let you last, that brought you here to this warm, quiet place beside your own small fire, still turning, still keeping your place. You do not have to think about this. You may simply let it warm you, the way the little world is warmed, and rest inside the quiet knowledge that you, too, were made in part by what you lost, and that this is not a wound tonight, but simply your shape, settled and whole. Let us think, in the low warm dark, about how the little world sits in the family of planets, for there is a soft companionship in placing it among its neighbors. It is the innermost of them all, the nearest to the fire, the first of the sun's children. Just beyond it lies the cloud-wrapped world, hot and bright. And beyond that your own blue world, and beyond that the red desert world, and then the great gulf, and then the giants. And Mercury leads them all, closest to the warmth, keeping its small, quick orbit at the head of the long, slow procession of worlds. There is something touching in that image of all the planets strung out from the fire in their long, faithful order, each keeping its own place and its own pace. The whole family of them turning together around the shared central warmth. And the little world leads, the smallest and the swiftest and the nearest, keeping the front of the line, holding its place closest of all to the fire. Picture them all now, the whole quiet procession of worlds turning slowly around their shared warm center, and feel yourself part of a family too, of all the sleeping things that turn tonight around their own warm centers, keeping their places, held together in the great turning. Let us rest, for a while, in the sheer silence of space, for it is a silence unlike any you have known, and there is deep peace in imagining it. Between the worlds there is no air, and so there is no sound, none at all, only a silence so complete and so vast that it wraps around everything like the deepest of stillnesses. The little world turns its turn in perfect silence. The great sun burns without a sound. The stars wheel through their slow patterns in utter quiet. All the enormous motions of the cosmos happen in a silence so total that it is almost a presence, a great serene hush filling all the space between the stars. And you, tonight, are drifting toward your own share of that silence, the deep quiet of sleep, where the noise of the day falls away entirely, and there is only the soft hush of your own slow breathing and the great still quiet all around. Let the silence of space become the silence of your rest, vast and complete and untroubled, filling all the space around you, holding you in its deep serene hush as you drift the last of the way down. Let us feel, one final time before the ending, the warmth of the fire and the presence of the survivor beside it, for they have been our faithful companions all through this long night, and it is right to rest with them once more. See the fire, low and orange and steady in the great dark, casting its small warm circle of light. See the survivor beside it, the small enduring thing that has come through everything and asks nothing now, keeping its place in the warmth, at peace. And feel yourself there, too, part of that small warm circle, having come through your own long day, keeping your own place beside your own faithful warmth, with nothing to prove and nothing to hold and nowhere to be but here, warm, in the dark, at rest. The fire will keep burning. The warmth will keep holding you. The survivor will keep its faithful place. And so will you, drifting now, softening now, letting go now, carried the last of the way down into the deep, warm quiet by the same slow, faithful turning that keeps the little world in its place and the stars in their courses, and the whole vast cosmos gently, endlessly turning through the dark. And so, as the fire burns low, and the little world turns its faithful turn, and the great silence of space wraps close around you, let us begin, slowly and without hurry, the long, soft ending of our night together, the last gentle turning down toward sleep. Let us wander in this last generous stretch of dark into the matter of Mercury's thin veil of air, for even the little world's near absence of an atmosphere is its own quiet wonder. Most worlds you might name are wrapped in a blanket of gas, thick or thin, that softens their light and carries their warmth and shelters their surfaces. But Mercury is nearly bare, holding only the faintest breath of a thing, a whisper so thin it hardly deserves the name of air at all, made of stray particles knocked loose from the surface by the light and the wind of the near sun, drifting up and settling back in a slow, endless exchange. It has almost no blanket, and so it stands nearly naked against the dark and the light both, and yet it endures, unbothered by its own bareness, needing no covering to keep its place. There is a strange freedom in that, in a world that has almost nothing wrapped around it and does not mind, that stands open to the whole vast cosmos and simply goes on turning, holding its place with nothing to hide behind. You, tonight, have your own soft covering, your own warm blanket wrapped close around you, and you may feel doubly grateful for it, held and sheltered as the little world is not, and rest all the more deeply for the warmth that wraps you where it stands bare. Let us think, too, about the faint tail the little world trails behind it, for this is one of the most delicate and beautiful things about Mercury, and picturing it is like watching something drift on slow water. Those stray particles knocked loose from its surface, so light and so few, are pushed by the pressure of the sun's own light out and away from the world, streaming softly off into space behind it, forming a long, faint trailing tail, like the tail of a comet, only quieter. A pale sodium glow drawn out behind the little world as it moves. Imagine that, a small gray world hurrying along its path near the sun, trailing behind it a long, soft, luminous veil, a faint, bright tail streaming away into the dark, so delicate you would need special eyes to see it at all. It is a thing of great tenderness, this quiet tail, this soft, streaming veil of the little world's own substance, drifting away behind it as it goes. And it takes nothing from the world to make, and troubles it not at all. Let the image drift through you now, the little world moving softly through the dark, trailing its pale, quiet light behind it, and let your own thoughts trail off behind you in just the same way, streaming softly away into the dark as you drift forward toward sleep, leaving you lighter and clearer with each slow breath. Nothing held, everything gently let go, and let us rest, while the night is still generous, in the simple companionship of the little world's constancy, for you have been kept company all night by a small survivor beside a fire, and the little world itself is the truest such companion of all. It has been there through everything, keeping its place, and it is there now, out in the dark, turning its slow, faithful turn, while you lie here drifting, toward rest. You are not alone in the vast quiet tonight. Out there, a small old faithful world keeps its place beside the great fire, enduring as it has always endured, asking nothing, and in some soft imagined way it keeps you company. The two of you drifting through the same dark, both of you warm enough, both of you whole enough, both of you simply keeping your places and letting the slow turning carry you along. Let that companionship settle over you now like one more soft covering, the quiet company of a faithful old world turning far off in the dark, keeping watch over your rest the way a low fire keeps watch over a sleeper, asking nothing, only there, only warm, only faithful, all through the night. Before the very last turning down, let us linger one more slow, while in the deep old comfort of the little world's endurance, for we cannot say it too many times on a night like this. It should not exist, and yet it does. It should have been scattered, and yet it gathered. It should have been scorched bare, and yet it holds its tender secrets still. It should have gone cold and dead all the way through, and yet it keeps its warm turning heart. It should have been unmade 100 times over by the fierce young fire it was born beside, and yet there it is, faithful and whole and enduring, keeping its place near the sun as it has kept it since almost the beginning of everything. And if such a small and improbable thing can endure so long, so faithfully, against so much, then surely you, tonight, may rest easy in your own quiet endurance, having come through your own long day, keeping your own warm place, needing to prove nothing at all to the patient dark. Feel how much you have already let go tonight, how far down you have already come. The tightness of the day has unwound. The weight you were carrying has been set down. The busy reach of your thoughts has drawn in and quieted. Your breath has grown long and slow and easy, finding its own faithful rhythm without any help from you. Your body has grown heavy and warm, settling deeper into whatever holds it, softening one small place at a time. You are very nearly there now, very nearly all the way down, and there is nothing left to do but let the last of it go, and drift the final small distance into the deep warm quiet of sleep. The little world will keep its place, the fire will keep its warmth, the great turning will keep on turning, and you may let go completely now, and rest. Tonight has been about a small world that should not exist, and yet does. Tonight has been about a great iron heart hidden inside a little gray world, and the warm ember still turning at its center. Tonight has been about fire and ice held together in one small body, and the ancient ice kept safe in the deep, cool shadows. Tonight has been about the long, slow day that outlasts a year, and the dawn that unfolds across ages, and the patient watchers who followed a faint light low on the horizon for thousands of years, and the patient travelers who slowed themselves across the long dark to reach the swiftest of worlds. Tonight has been about the vast scale of things, the great turning that asks nothing of you, and the deep permission to let everything go and know that nothing at all will fall. And through all of it, tonight has been about the small survivor beside the fire, keeping its place, asking nothing, proving nothing, simply enduring in the warmth. It has been about staying, it has been about warmth, it has been about rest. It has been about staying and warmth and rest. It has been about endurance and endurance and endurance. The quiet kind, the kind with nothing to prove. It has been about a small thing keeping its place beside a great fire, and about how you, tonight, are exactly that small thing, warm and whole and enduring, keeping your own place in the dark. None of this needs anything from you tonight. None of it ever did. It was only ever here to carry you down into rest, and now that it has carried you this far, there is nothing left for it to ask, and nothing left for you to do, but let go the last small distance and sleep. When this narration ends, there will be another quiet exploration waiting on the screen, another slow wandering through some far corner of the dark, ready to carry you onward if you are still drifting and not yet all the way down. You do not have to do anything to reach it. You do not have to choose it or find it or press anything at all. Let it begin on its own, in its own time, and let it carry you further if you need carrying. Or let it murmur on unheard if you are already asleep. Either way is well. Either way, you are held. And if some small part of you is still awake enough to wonder, you might carry this one soft question down toward sleep with you. Not to answer, only to hold as you drift. If you could drift for one long slow, while above any world in all the vast dark, held safe and weightless and unhurried, which world would you choose to watch turning quietly beneath you? You need not decide. You need only let the question float there, warm and open. A small light beyond a window as you sink the rest of the way down. Now let your body grow heavier still, sinking a little deeper into the warmth with each slow breath. Let your shoulders ease down one last time, away from your ears, fully given over to whatever holds you. Let your jaw soften and your brow smooth, and the small muscles around your eyes let go completely. Let your hands rest open and easy. Let your breath come slow and low, in its own faithful rhythm, needing nothing from you. The little world turns its slow turn near the fire. The survivor keeps its faithful place in the warmth. The great silence wraps close around you, deep and serene. And you are held, safe, warm, carried, drifting down the last small distance into the deep, quiet rest that has been waiting for you all along. There is nothing left to hold. There is nothing left to do. There is only the warmth and the quiet and the slow, faithful turning, carrying you gently down, and all the way down. Rest now. Let go now. Sleep well.